Welcome to the meeting of January 10th, 2019. Bill Kinsman sitting in for Bob Silk, who happens to be here tonight. First up, secretarial invoice.
Further, we approve the secretarial invoice for December 27th, 2018.
Move approve.
I'll second it. Leave that to me.
Any discussion on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of minutes.
Further, we approve the minutes of the December 27th meeting as submitted.
We need a second.
Second.
I haven't seen the minutes. They were on the website and they disappeared. I don't know what happened.
Oh, the website, I didn't see them in the email.
I did
missed
see
it.
them.
They look good.
Yeah.
There
you
wasn't
second it?
anything added to it.
Bob, did you read them?
Yes, I did, but I can't find them now.
Here's a copy.
Here's a copy.
Yeah,
So you did the second it? Second
I'll
motion?
second it. yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll wait before, we'll see if,
There are no additional invoices.
okay.
Okay.
Oh, back this way, Bob wants to see him probably.
Okay.
All right, so he's good, I'm good.
Yeah, it had
I
the
wasn't here.
problem on the water leaks and past information. Yep.
Okay,
Chris Elba.
any further discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? None. Okay, there are no other invoices. Next thing is an update on the chapel project. John,
I'm up.
you're up.
So there, I think you've all been to the site recently. They're probably about, I think they're billing for 75% completion or so.
Good.
And they're up, their latest schedule that I saw was substantial completion around the mid to third week of February.
Is
That's
that
first
take
one.
into consideration the change orders? Or they might be, for instance, the one on the
Right.
roof where they're asking for extended time, I assume?
That doesn't. That's right now. That's be the next topic. We'll be talking about the change order that comes up.
I understand, but that estimate at the time,
It doesn't include the roof.
okay.
Well, the roof is gonna be okay. We don't know that yet, okay.
Things are going along. One of the items that we wanted to talk about was there are a couple of cracked stone pieces that I sent a photo along. We wanted to talk about. So this piece.
John, this is more than cracked. I mean, I mean,
It's two
It's called
pieces.
broken.
this
Yeah,
is,
it's
this is
broken.
two pieces, right?
Yep.
And they've epoxied it.
Right. So
And
they
pinned it,
put it. Pardon me.
and pinned it too?
Yeah, so they put in a stainless steel pin,
Okay.
epoxy it in place to structurally bond it. They discussed it with the structural engineer for their approval. They are fine with the solution if the town wants to move forward with the cracked stone epoxied in place.
Is this visible in the exterior wall?
It is on the exterior wall, yes. Yep.
Which side, John?
I believe it is on the entrance side as you approach so it's west
That would be
side.
the entrance side.
Approaching the building,
Okay, from the driveway, so
Yeah.
it would be the east side.
east side, yeah.
Was this something, a function of the cornerstone thing?
I don't believe so, no. So I think there are a couple options. You can put in the stone as grouted and put in grout or as epoxied and then grout the open joint. We can cut it more square and try to grab another piece of stone that's been discarded, if any scrap, and put in another piece so that you have two pieces within that same area, or totally replace the stone.
I was gonna ask, what kind of a stone is it? Is it sandstone or granite or what is it?
I believe it's a piece of, I don't know. yet. I can find out
A
for you.
crack like that, it must be other than granite.
Yes.
I don't think it's granite.
No, I don't think
So,
there's any granite in
Is,
this.
is there, and sandstone to me, unless there's something very special about the color of it, you know,
He's got a colored photo,
I do.
just FYI.
yeah.
Usually a
So it looks to me like it was flamed or something, the finish of it.
I'm sorry?
It looks to me like it was flame
Oh,
finish.
yes, I mean, it's
Yeah.
original, obviously.
I think, I guess the question would be, if they bought or got a piece of sandstone, could they replicate that finish? I mean, if it's that important? It does look like it's different.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily that important. I think it's the question of, do you want it replaced or not? It's not like it's as,
I'm for replacing it, that's why I'm asking
oh, I
this
see,
question.
okay.
Because I don't think, you know, inside it would have been okay, but outside I'm not so sure it'd be that, or
Okay.
particularly because I think you're talking about the, sort of on the east side of the building, going to the left,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
How high up is it, John?
I will verify, I'm not sure 100%, but I think it's at least halfway up the wall.
Is it on the Chantry side, or is it just?
No, it's on
over-
the east side. It's on the Winter Street side.
It is the
Oh,
Chantry
oh,
side.
It'd be
oh,
the Chantry side.
oh, down that end of the
East side is
building.
the Chantry side.
Oh,
I believe so.
okay.
How much?
I don't know, I would
Well,
like to consider either going with a new stone or cutting this one, although cutting it, I think is just a waste of time. If we could just get one stone and,
How big is it?
oh, it's approximately 12.
18,
Yeah.
12, 18
18
inches?
most of those stones are
I
12
mean,
by
why wouldn't we
8.
just get a new stone? I mean, how much
Well,
can a stone be?
Yeah.
well,
There's a couple.
go ahead.
So
Getting new stone.
we have had other cracked stones that aren't as severe as this, that have been pinned and epoxied together and put
Uh-huh.
back. And that was done primarily for timing and cost. And every change that we've had so far on this project has been at a premium, it seems.
Yeah,
So we're hoping to, with this stone, even if we grouted it, because a lot of the grout lines aren't, they're not perfectly perpendicular, and we thought it would blend reasonably well if you put that in, put it back as is, and grouted it. But if we wanted to put in a new stone, it's, they're talking weeks to get the stone, which seems a little odd.
so when they're talking non-shrink, some kind of an epoxy.
Well, the
product.
epoxy is in, yes.
Well, I mean, what are we gonna see when that crack is?
I'm sorry, has this already been pinned?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they're.
Why is
they're
there
trying
such a
to-
gap? I
Because
mean,
it's
if
just
the
a
stone
s-
breaks, you
it's
you would
just
think it
on-
would go right back together and have a very small
Well,
gap.
I think over,
I mean, it looks like we're talking a half-inch gap here.
it's a pretty sizable gap.
Well, you can
I
see
don't
down
know
at the
whether to get it.
bottom, see,
Well, yeah.
because it's so irregular. It's also, you gotta remember, there's pressure, once it goes like this, it begins to move. So.
No, but I mean, when you have two pieces separate and you put them together, you would think you could get them basically touching
Yeah, I think
with something
over
that
the
you
years, I think
or
it's,
something.
yeah, whatever was in between, this seems to be the best they can get it at this
Okay.
point. I think there are sections that aren't there anymore. And it may have been put in like this and grouted at one point, I'm not sure.
It looks to me like this is one of those stones that are about 6 inches. That,
Thick.
it's sort of like a veneer that they have on the
It-
front.
Yes,
And so when they put this grout in there, then it'll probably be a color to match the stone as best they can.
yeah, so what I would probably, instead of doing that, I'd maybe want to consider doing an actual grout. So it looks like it's a grout, so almost more like it's something that was put in originally, rather than having.
Well, you mean cut,
Right,
put another small
right,
stone next
because
to
a
it?
lot of the stones aren't perfectly square. There is some
Variation.
variation.
Yeah,
This is a little more severe than all the other locations, but I don't,
or if we do that, so we cut the stone, something like that,
we could, yes.
yeah, and then we'd look around.
And
find
try to
out.
find something, yes.
Are we
Well-
likely to find a piece on site that would fit
We're
there?
gonna look, yeah. They've been saving every scrap that they can find.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
They haven't been discarding anything.
Well, is this gonna corbel it, are they gonna put a joint more or less over the top of that cut line?
Oh, you know what, I'm not sure if there will be a joint on top of it.
Well,
That's a
I
good
wouldn't
point.
wanna see a joint there, because
Right, that's a good
I would
point.
just rather see this, so that.
Sure, of course.
So I get this one, but I mean, I share your concern about the expenses, we've certainly been confronted with some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and even more so the delay, if it's gonna take weeks.
Yeah,
to
well,
get-
this I don't think is a really big delay, but we are looking at some considerable expenses for other things. I mean, really.
Let me ask you this, John. There was talk about 8 or 10 stones that were needed from the
Yes.
quarry. Is this one of them?
This would have been one of them, yeah.
And that was
I
a
think it was
big delay,
$4,200
and
or
it was
something,
a big cost.
yeah. It was
Because the
pretty
materials
expensive.
were approximately 4,600,
Yes,
and then the labor,
Yep.
because they were gonna demobilize and then remobilize, and
yeah, this stone, I believe they would need a man lift to put in if they, once they dismantle the
Scaffold.
staging, yeah.
One thing I brings up the question in my mind, a certain amount of the stone there was considered to be problematical when they estimated the job.
That's correct.
So they were just told to estimate a certain amount and how much it should be included in the cost
Yes,
of the bid.
yeah,
So I assume from where we are right now, they've exhausted those
Yes.
funds and we're going into, how many stones gonna get for?
I
You
believe
said
there
6 to 8 stone?
no, it was 8 to 10.
8 to
So-
10.
8 to 10 stones, yeah. They've done quite a bit of, I think a lot of the work that they've done is also inside the wall, where they've had to demo
Yeah.
more brick and pull more
Well, you see, the
and
thing we knew
stabilize it.
about that, that's what the report said, particularly on that east side. There was a lot of moisture and the way they built that wall was completely different from what the side on the west side.
Yes, yeah,
So,
so we run into some of it.
So what about you about the others beyond these two?
So the others have been pinned and placed in place. They're fully epoxy, they have the stainless pin, and they're much more of a hairline, not a,
And they've
not a
already been,
major
Not a
scar
gap.
there.
they've already been set, so we're talking about 2 stones.
There's 2 stones, yeah.
I'm not in favor of holding the project up. I say we just grout them and,
was the backup to this brick,
Yes,
and that brick is 2 widths thick, right?
yes.
And then is there a parging gap between the two? Or is it a
They've been packing it pretty,
been packing it?
yeah, they've been following
And they are
instructions of
running
the
those,
structural. Yep, the helical tiles
rods
go
back
in.
into the brick?
Yep.
Why don't we just repair it, stick it back?
Well, I'm thinking maybe if there's a stone that can fit, then maybe make the cut and put the second
Well,
piece.
the
if you
problem,
have a
Put a
piece
the
of-
second
problem
on
with that is you may get another stone right over the cut.
Yeah.
So you'd have a double joint, one on top of the other.
May. Well,
Well, yeah, I mean,
You would anyway,
Let's
either
call-
way.
well, but then again, you could
it's
always,
called stack bond and it's not a good thing.
Yeah. Can you,
but you could make the cut off a little bit, right? I
Yeah.
mean, you don't necessarily have to
Well,
cut it right
yeah,
where
but
the
how
edge
much-
is.
You're only
We'd
gonna
have to
land
see
up
how
with a
much-
6-inch stone either side of it.
Yeah,
I'm willing to bet you don't have anything that big.
I measured the stones in the field, they're about 12 inches.
Yeah. If you can find a stone that they can cut and put in and not, then I would suggest doing that. Other than that, I would
Just repair
reinstall that stone and water it out.
They were talking about rubbing the grout with some of the sand
Dust.
so that it matches the color,
Yes.
rather than looking like grout.
Oh, I see, you prefer
It would
not
look
having
like
a
a seam
grout,
in the stone.
have something more matching the stone.
It might look like a seam in the stone, but it would look more like stone than like grout.
Sure, that makes sense. We can ask them to mix up a few different batches.
What is that gonna cost us?
Well,
Is this
I'm
gonna be a repair, that's gonna be another change order?
I'm hoping not, no.
I don't have to write that guy's name down.
right.
Send them a Christmas card. Right?
You want to be in his will? Is that
No,
what
I
you
wanna
want?
get a door, stick pins in them.
So we all in agreement there, step 1, if you can get a stone big enough to make the cut, as long as it doesn't line up with the seam above it.
That's correct, yep.
If not, make the repair using dust from the stone to match it as best we can
Sure.
to
Well,
try
don't
to make
forget, we're
it.
talking non-shrink rubber,
blend
so
it.
we don't wanna put too much stuff in it.
Yeah, we'll work with the structural engineer and determine exactly what it is. But the epoxy is a that stuff bonds pretty
I know,
pretty
but
significant.
Makes sense.
squirted enough of that stuff in there over the years.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, no, I think that's a good way to go, actually.
Okay, John. Next up on that.
So, speaking of changes, so this is the big one that we talked about a number of times. This is the roofing. My understanding is at the last meeting.
Yeah, I stuck my nose into that.
No, it was fine. This is the final change request. And there you go. I know, Bill, you tried stepping in for me during the holidays, and trying to explain how it works out. So basically, this change request is for Shay to actually do the copper roofing under the Lantern contract. So what that does is it gives us it gives the owner the opportunity to have the subcontractor that they already have on board, that level of continuity. There's no finger pointing with respect to the roofing, if there's a problem, because they're there.
Well,
And you don't pay
it
the
jumps
over.
off at me right away. It says, remove and replace 70 square feet of roof decking.
That's correct, yeah.
Is that a hot number or something that suddenly appeared on somebody's desk? Or?
That's probably down at the bottom of the roof where it meets
Yeah,
the,
probably.
the wall.
It doesn't cut it for me, because if you look underneath, some of that sheathing is different colors.
Yeah,
In
so
other
this
words,
is,
in other words, we've been down this road before. The building is,
Well, do you think, it would be my idea to just replace all the sheathing?
well, that's gonna be some money, because it's inch and a quarter spruce.
yeah. it's-
It was really
it's
only
tongue
the
and groove.
end 2 feet that were damaged, right,
Yeah.
more or less?
So
Well,
this was,
somewhere, there isn't any sheathing at all.
Okay.
yeah, it's just deteriorated to the point where you see the tin underneath.
More,
you see the backside.
more than 2 feet?
How many square feet are we talking about?
I think it's the length of the chantry.
Yeah, I mean,
I think it's about 35 feet by 2 feet.
Yeah.
2-3 feet.
no.
Of
for the-
sheathing, but
for
the
whole-
roof.
For the whole roof, what are we talking?
Oh,
That's around 300
A little over 300
square feet. What about a 1-inch plywood?
No, because if you're gonna replace boards, you gotta match it to the boards that are there. I mean, we gotta do it right.
And
You got inch and a quarter spruce up there, which isn't something off the shelf, at least I don't think it is.
It's not. You can, I mean,
It's
obviously
gotta
you
be
can find
milled,
it, you get
it's
it
gotta be
milled.
milled, and they'll ship it in, and there's gonna be all kinds of screaming and yelling about that. Cause we use spruce down at the, cedar down at the bathhouse, and we had a heck of a time getting it.
Oh, that's right, we did have to rip it down, didn't we?
Anyway, I would ask that question because I've seen this kind of thing before, when the guy quotes 70 square feet or something like that, and the next thing you know, it's a
It's
very
300.
generous contractor-wise estimate, so.
Well, this is a number that we used, that the design team put together as part of the proposal. So we asked a couple of other contractors as well for pricing, and we had to determine what that square footage was. And
Yeah,
that
but you were
was
just talking about along the east side.
correct, yeah, where the downslope
Where it's
is.
actually pitched two ways.
Yeah,
It's
there's
pitched to
there's
the
some
east
slip.
side and it's pitched north and south.
That's, yes.
Slightly, but it is.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
I'm not, with all due respect, and I can't get up there and take a look at it, I did see what I saw.
Yep,
And I know we can't see it for the most part because of the ceiling.
mhm.
But I would not want to start this roofing job, particularly in the wintertime, if we're gonna get into a real shouting contest about how much the sheathing is gonna cost.
Well, right now, you own 70 square feet of sheathing in this price. So if
Yeah, I
it is-
understand that, but that's what I'm talking about.
we could ask him to increase it to 100 or 200 if you'd like.
Because if he doesn't replace it, he doesn't spend the money, he doesn't get the money back.
It's a unit price?
It is not, this is a fixed fee right now for 70 square feet.
We own 70, so
Right.
this 70 here would be an additional, so it would be at 140?
No.
You don't own any
You
repair.
own no decking. So right now, in this
Spillane doesn't
change-
own it, the roofing contractor.
That was the major problem in the
Okay.
previous one.
Well, we're talking about 70, we're talking about 3 times more, approximately, of the the decking.
What I think you said was the length of the chantry is 35 feet.
It's around 35
So
feet,
35
yes. So
times
we
2
own
is an
2
easy
feet.
And it comes
70,
up,
but
well,
we're
2
only
feet is the
talking about a
problem.
width this wide.
That's correct. That's what the design team was assuming, and I
Yeah.
agree with them. And we looked up there. Once you go beyond, a couple feet past,
Yeah.
from the wall,
Then you get,
it changes color. It's more natural.
Yeah.
Well, here's what I'd like to do. Given that, I'd like to have a set price for a square foot of this roofing if we have to go beyond the 70.
A unit price per
Yeah.
square
Yeah.
foot.
Yes.
Well, I'd like to have that in there.
Okay. Well, we can ask for a. What I'd like to do is get Shay going on this,
Yeah, I
if it's
understand.
possible. So what I can do is ask for a unit price on any future change and negotiate that while they're getting this set up, if
Fine.
you'd like,
That I can
and get
live
it
with.
in writing.
Okay, I can live with that.
Okay.
when we first got
That makes
pricing with
sense.
roofing,
Yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry.
when we first got pricing roofing,
Yeah.
the real expensive one was the built-up.
Was the
What was
built-up,
the
yeah.
copper? Was that 55, 58
Yes.
number?
That was a
So we
marked,
have, so we have a little better.
that was a marked up price with being handled under Shea. See,
Right.
this is not gonna be handled under Shea at all. This is gonna be
Okay.
a separate deal with, I'm sorry, with
Spillane,
Spillane.
right.
Spillane's really,
Yeah.
with Spillane. So Shea is gonna handle this as a change order.
Directly to
And
them.
he's
Yeah.
doing the copper roof too.
And
And
he's gonna be
the
doing copper roof.
So last meeting, we had two numbers, one for 20 ounce, one for 30 ounce. This is 16.
That's right.
What happened to the 30?
It's 16 and 20. So 16 was Shea, and then 20 was Crocker.
No, I
Oh,
think
I'm
it's
sorry,
the other way
16 ounce is heavier than
It is.
20. It's heavier than 30.
What you would say.
It's not 16 gauge, it's 16 ounce.
Yeah.
Right, but
And was that ounce, was that a measurement of ounces, like weight per size or something?
Well, it's the size of the copper, how much it weighs, so big a piece.
One piece?
Yeah,
I believe this is a thicker copper, am I correct?
I think the 20 ounce is thicker.
yeah.
Okay.
But I thought I remember
It doesn't
30.
go with the gauge.
is what,
It's one of the
what you had
things that-
said was the Crocker was at 20,
That's
and
correct.
that this was at 30.
It was at
Yeah, that's
60.
at 30. Shay was 30.
By the way, John, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is this something that
So
our
that-
friends at Gene
Over
looked
from last
over?
week?
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, they've
Yeah,
signed
I'm
the
looking
change
at-
already.
I got them here.
So my understanding was Crocker was a
Okay.
little more expensive at 20 ounce.
When that was the point, was we were under the impression that Shea was at 30 ounce, and at a lower price, that was a good deal.
Right.
And that was,
I don't, I
that's
think,
what Bill's looking at.
yeah, I thought,
I think Bob has already found it.
Well, it's on page 2 of the
It's in the minutes, but
minutes.
that's how it was reported,
Yeah, I did have the minutes.
and in the minutes it says 30 ounce for Shea?
yeah. But let's see if that was correctly read. Yeah, we got the minutes here, we don't.
Yeah. Oh, you got the minutes there? The second page?
Let's see.
Did you see it, Bill?
30 ounce for 45 versus 20 ounce for 46.
Well,
Yeah, I
From
think
last
that was a
week.
miss.
2 weeks ago.
I'm almost positive that Crocker's been, or Shea has been at 16 ounce the entire time.
See if we got his proposal.
It says, Shea
No,
submitted a proposal for
16
30
ounce
ounce
for Shea.
copper roofing at
Right here.
45.
All right, so that was a misstatement we had on the table last week.
yeah, yeah.
This is a mistake? The
Yeah.
minutes?
Yes, it was all, well, the minutes are right in the sense that that's what we talked about. But the number that was put on the table was inconsistent with the actual proposal.
Because it's dated here, and it says on December the 13th, install new 16 ounce flat seam copper panel roof as follows.
So-
What's the weight of the flashing that it's gonna tie into?
I believe that's 20.
Does it make sense to put 20 ounce against 16?
I mean, there's a longer life, obviously. But 16 ounce is not an inexpensive roof or an inferior roof by any means. 20 ounces better. It'll last you, instead of 60 years, it'll last you 70 or 80 years, that kind of thing. We can ask Shay to give us a price on upgrading it to 60 or to 20 if you'd like.
We've got to ask them for a unit price, let's do that. Let's ask them what it's gonna take.
We're gonna have to change this anyway for the unit price on the sheathing. And besides,
We're gonna do that as an addendum.
he's gonna have to
this.
put down what kind of sheathing he's gonna use still, right?
I think,
I mean, is there
I
a
think
drawing?
it's to match existing, yes, there is a sketch, and it's to match
It
existing.
does spell out the spruce.
I don't know if it specifically says spruce, but it does say
Well, that's
match
what we got up
existing.
there now.
Right. So what I would,
I think we'd all
what I-
I don't feel comfortable myself until we get this question straightened out. I know we want to start the work, but I think we have to adjust this.
So I'm hearing three things. One, make sure that it matches the existing, and that's spruce, we believe. Get the price for the 20, and then get the unit price for additional square feet of sheeting.
Okay.
Sound right? And then if those things all come in, are we kind of prepared to move with it?
Yeah.
If we can afford it at that
Once
point.
we know,
Right.
yeah.
because you know that the price is gonna go up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we know that.
automatically. And there's a benefit to, and I know Crocker is already at 20, and he's about the same price. I think he's $1,000 more, or something of that nature, or a couple $1,000s more. But I think there's a lot to gain with having one continuous contractor on
Right.
board, rather than bringing another contractor. Oh yeah, if there's any leak, they're gonna be pointing at each other the entire time.
I hate that game.
So in my perspective, I would say go with the 16 ounce. You know, if it turns out being too expensive, definitely go with the 16 ounce with Shea and gain that continuity rather than going with another
They need to give us
contractor.
the mixture of the solder.
I'm sorry?
Do they have to tell us about what goes into making that solder? I know we have a lot of trouble with
Like
solder.
submit for approval.
Sure. Yeah, they have to submit a submittal. They have to
We
provide a
need to know
submittal.
what that is.
Mhm.
Can we authorize myself, once we find out what these upgrades are gonna cost and whether he's using spruce or not, and the unit price, can we authorize me so that we can get this thing going?
Proceed as long as you feel it's reasonable.
Yes.
I'm fine with that.
I'd like to set a number on that.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
But if you set a number,
I think,
that's what it's
Bill,
gonna
in answer
be.
to your question, I think we need to know, we need to have another look at what he's gonna do. That was the most important sheet. All of the information he's gonna get to. Now, as far as the solder and everything goes, I'm assuming that there is a document from ENAP that spells all this out.
I don't know, we don't have a roofing spec for copper, I don't believe. We have
Well, I'm worried
details.
about the stuff getting off the roof, and all that kind of stuff. That's why you can't use lead coated copper anymore, all that
Right.
kind of stuff.
Right. But we'll have like I said, we'll have a submittal for the roofing system that come in, we look at it, and it'll be approved, one way or the other.
How soon do you think they can get a document back to us? I know we were in a rush to get this done.
Okay, that's no problem. I'll talk to John first thing in the morning and ask him to send this, give us what the upgrade price would be for 20 ounce, which is fine. Confirm that he's doing spruce, which is relatively easy, that can be done in an email. And then the other is the solder. What are you gonna use for solder? We can get those quickly.
Yeah. And then the unit price.
Well, I
right
would
in.
say, the answer to
Yeah,
Bill's
yeah.
question, I think we could have a motion here that we would give him carte blanche on going forward if we have
Yeah.
one specification, it's gonna be requirements and making, without having a meeting and holding up the whole
Yeah.
job.
Unless something comes back that the 20 ounce
Well,
price is so
I mean,
crazy, or the
If
unit
Bill
price
wants
is
to, I
crazy.
can sit down with him and go over
Yeah.
it. but-
Should
we
we
copy you
should we
guys.
set a limit? I'm more concerned with setting a limit.
I think we really need to. I don't think it's fair to you or to the committee.
Well, the limit, as far as I'm concerned, the price is not gonna go up.
Unless we go to 20.
$25,000 is what we're trying, we're just trying to find out what we're buying for $45,000.
Well, but what if they come in and say 20 ounce is like 48?
But
Or what
didn't
if it's
they,
58?
didn't they submit, what did they submit when,
They submitted 16 ounce for the roof.
for the original one?
16, I just looked at.
Well, the only thing we can do is, call, give GNAP a call and say, what is the difference between 16 ounce and 20 ounce? I mean, should we go with the 20? Because he's gonna hit us with a premium for it.
Absolutely.
Right, so the question is, how much of a premium are we willing to let Bill approve?
Exactly.
Well, the problem is that the other guy bid. If the premium kicks him up to that guy's price, we're gonna have a little bit of a problem.
No. No, it's not a bid. It was asking, it was,
Okay.
we were requesting.
Okay.
Did he actually make a site, Crocker, did he actually make a site visit?
He has a number of times, but he also looked at the details that GNAP sent them, or GNAP sent them.
GNAP did put together a detailed
All right,
diagram.
so he's well
and specs.
informed.
He is, yes.
He's well informed. He knows what he's gotten into.
But I think there's quite a bit of labor in there as well. From my perspective, if it's under $5,000 to go from 16 ounce to 20 ounce, then I would say it's worth the investment.
Yeah.
If it's more than that, then I would, from my perspective, again, it's up to you guys, I would say that it's not worth it.
Isn't
I
there a
would say
certain
move
amount of
forward.
copper already on the job that is associated with the original project?
There is,
For the flashing?
there is
There is.
flashing, yes.
So what's the,
I believe that's
rate of-
20 ounce.
Okay, then what we should do is get it to match.
So I'm thinking we tell Bill, if it's less than 50, go ahead and approve it. If it's more than, say, 55, go ahead and say no to the 20 and stick with 16. And then it's somewhere in the middle, then we might want to discuss.
Yeah, and obviously, once we get the prices, I can send you all an email on it as well, and you can look at it.
Does that make sense?
I think-
Well, how is this gonna happen? If Bill decides he's gonna sign this thing, does he meet with you, or
Oh,
is that gonna go?
Yeah, you still have to process the change order.
Okay.
So Dale's team needs
Well,
to
it's a
sign it.
CCD, isn't it?
It is a CCD, but ultimately it does go to.
No, I understand, I
Yep.
understand how it works.
How long is it gonna take to put this together realistically?
I'm hoping in the next, by Monday. Today's Friday, it's gonna take him a couple days. Or I can get
What do
if
you
I can
think?
get something from him,
Does that make sense, Bill, those kinds of numbers?
You know, if you wanted,
Less than
Here's
50,
the-
you
here's
wanted
the-
to review it up there, just give me a call and go sit with it.
I think we should have a meeting next Thursday.
We could also do that. We could have a meeting next Thursday. And then, when are you gonna be away?
Next Thursday.
I'll take minutes if not a big deal.
Well, we might not need to. I mean, if it's close enough that we can just say go with the 20.
I think it's too complicated of a decision.
Well, what if it comes in and it's like 48 grand?
I agree, we've done this before on
Oh, yes,
projects.
yeah.
We have, as a matter of fact, I think in the high school, we
Well, what-
said at $10,000.
The essence of this is simply we have no problem with the $45,000.
That's right, we don't.
If to get the 20, we have to go to 5,000, that's what we're talking about. To give you the okay to go ahead with a $5,000 increase on the, and I have no problem with that.
Okay. But he can't know this number in advance.
no, I'm gonna call him in the morning.
Okay,
He's-
fine. All right,
He's gonna
let's,
be publishing this on TV in the world.
this doesn't go on TV tonight. When does this become live?
I couldn't tell you, but it won't be tonight. If anything, it would be within a week.
Tuesday at the earliest, from what I've seen.
Yeah,
Oh, really?
it's not really.
We publish Thursday.
Whatever.
So, is that agreeable to everybody?
It is for me, yeah.
Yeah.
Works
I
for
mean,
me.
when I was still in the high school, we had a $10,000.
I know, it was 10,000, I know.
Well, on the original masonry job here, we had 10,000, and McKenna, in fact, went on vacation and told me I could sign up for 10,000, that's all.
Okay. All right, will
Okay,
somebody
let's-
make the motion, and then we'll second it, and we'll put
I'll
the,
make a motion that we send our OPM back to discuss this with the roofing guy, and that we want to change from the 16 to the 20 to match the flashing already scheduled for the project. And,
We wanna know how it's being, the soldering. We wanna
well, we
know,
wanna know the makeup of the solder, not how it's being soldered.
okay, and we wanna know that, we want a unit price on decking, and we wanna make sure it's spruce.
Yeah.
You got
Oh,
all
and
that,
we're
Joe?
changing, and we're changing the,
20
weight of
ounce.
the carpet is to 20.
Yes,
Right. And then depending on the number, you can make the decision what we
And,
think the base is.
and this should be not to exceed $5,000.
yes,
Okay,
fine with that.
that's my motion.
Okay, so we have a
Second
second. Is there any further discussion on this? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
You abstain.
Okay.
Right.
So one last item that I have at least. This has to do with the masonry opening that was requested above the existing plaque.
What does the plaque say anyway? one
What's
that's
the
there.
plaque say?
The one that's there now.
Yeah, but, it
There's
was
a picture of it on the other side.
Oh, yes. Can't quite.
Oh.
It's,
I mean,
it
was it-
says 7 years ago.
It's a dedication of when it was installed.
Well, it was- so
Has
that
the
was-
family name, I believe?
That's when it was built. By the way, I saw a book with all of the stuff this guy had designed at one time for State Place. He did the John Hancock building in Boston,
Who's that?
the guy who did this chapel.
Oh,
Oh, no
the
kidding.
John Hancock building, that was built after
Oh,
World War
yeah, I think
II.
And this is the opening to then put that box back in?
so. Yeah, be right
Up
up there.
above.
Okay.
Yeah, that's-
Yeah, with pencil
Yeah.
boxes
And the
drawn,
new
yeah.
plaque would go just above it. This is done in a lot of places. You go in Westminster Abbey, there's plaques all over the place like this.
In other words, the plaque would cover this.
Yeah.
When we're done. And John
I thought
Racine,
it was a cast.
In addition to or instead of this
cast
plaque?
stone or a limestone.
In addition to this plaque or
That's a
instead of
little
this
big
plaque?
though. I don't
No,
think
there'll
we're
be
gonna need
another
to
plaque.
make it that big,
a
Charlie.
Well, the question is,
plaque
what
like
is
we
it?
normally do.
Yeah, the
What's the
material.
Oh, I thought we
material?
decided we weren't gonna do a project
This is
plaque.
steel.
But maybe now that
No,
we're
no.
gonna do this,
What's
we might
this
as well?
material?
Okay.
I think it's
Sounds like it's
like
like
a
a
marble or
I
granite.
thought it was like a
It's called a
limestone
dedication.
or.
Yeah.
I mean, it's soft.
We don't need our
It's
name.
carved stone in any
Dedication
event.
plaque.
But you see how it's
Yes.
put on there with expansion plugs there? It'd be just so simple.
I know.
But I don't think we need to, this thing here looks like it's at least 16 inches, maybe even longer. We don't need one that big.
It says 8
You
by
know what,
16
Ted?
by 8.
I actually put that out there to him, 8 by 8 by 16, just in case somebody gets carried away. I don't know, how wide is this plaque looks like it's
Well, that's
20.
an 8, that's definitely
Well,
8
here
by
it is.
16.
It's
like
16, this is 20 by,
Where do you see 20?
He's accounting the
The
size of
width.
the bricks.
I'm counting the
Oh,
bricks,
oh,
So,
20.
yeah, it's
It's-
probably.
Yeah, it's 3/8,
12,
it's 24. No, actually, it's,
22, 24. It's more than 24
oh, I see,
high.
they got a stretcher course here. Anyway, 16 is more than enough. Actually, the box would be somewhat like, the box, as I recall, is somewhere in the neighborhood of 11 inches long, like 7 inches deep, or 7 inches high, something like
Yeah,
that.
when you're
I've
8
always
inch-
learned you go big.
Yeah, but
I know,
you're not gonna park a truck in there. You just-
I know.
It's really not
Well,
that
I'd say
big.
it's
I
about
don't-
the same price.
Yeah, I don't think it's really that big. I think that's fine.
It doesn't matter, and John Racine has graciously offered to make us the new box out of 1/4-inch steel plate.
No problem.
You said it was Rust-Oleum.
Rust-Oleum?
Yeah.
Well, I can give you raw
Actually-
steel.
Actually, I don't want you to do anything to it, just give it to me, and I will take care of it.
Yeah, sure. Do
You
you
wanna
need
send it
a,
over to Duncan?
do you need a back for it, or is it just a frame, or is it
We
3
need-
sides, 4 sides, 6 sides?
No, no,
We
it's
need
top, bottom, side, and the back.
one,
back, yeah.
2,
Open front, yeah.
3, 4, we need an open side here
Yeah.
to slide it in.
That'd be my
So
plan.
that sleeve will be sitting there, you just slide it in, and that's it. You put the
But
plaque up.
Spillane doesn't have to do the masonry. The
No.
masonry can be done later on.
We're gonna have somebody local do this. At the price, by the way, just so you all know, was $14.25 to make the
14.05.
opening.
1405.
14.05, okay. Let's not split hairs for $20.
Well, what I'm hearing you say is you don't want to approve this.
Oh, no.
So,
Well, we'll bring it
when
up.
you make this box, you're gonna make it in a shop?
Yeah, yeah.
What kind of, well,
fillet weld? Is that what you're asking?
Well,
what kind
I
of
suppose,
welding
I suppose the box would be
Six-
okay. I don't like fillet welds.
Oh, yeah,
I like full pins, but I
Yeah, I
brought
don't
this
think we-
subject up when they were talking about the base plates on that,
yeah.
and I meant to ask the structural guy, excuse me, the structural lady, you know, whether, because I've seen fillet welds fail even before we moved into the building.
Yeah, no,
I'm a little
I-
concerned about that, because you got a torsional load on that, what do you call it, that
the
lantern.
lantern, yeah.
It's doing this, and it's,
It is,
the wind is
yeah.
blowing and all these different.
We're still looking at how that's gonna get mounted. I'm not 100.
Well, if they're gonna have base
They wanna
plates,
I would like them to put more pins in. It just doesn't.
well, either
seem-
that or go deeper,
Yeah.
because, you know, they're going into the rubble part of the wall.
No, that's what I mean. If you look at what's there now, you see the angles that go into the brick, a good 2 to 3 feet.
Yeah, well, they cost probably, I don't know if you can drill that, but I know it's water struck,
I mean, yeah.
but you know, if you.
It's gotta go down.
If
in
you go
deeper.
down, if you go down 12 inches, I think you'd be okay,
Right.
because it is epoxy. You go in with the
Right.
epoxy sleeve.
Yeah, it's a little stronger than what's gonna.
Do
So
you
what
have
do
a
you-
CCD, you know, other than these copies that you want me to sign?
Those are the copies that I have. So if you wanna sign,
Well, I can't, because I've marked it up.
Well, do you wanna wait, Bill, until we find out about?
yeah, we can get you a
You're
fresh
talking
one.
about this one?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you wanna have the unit price in here, and you wanna have it spell out.
Okay, so you think you'll be
There's a
able
couple
to make
things
the
want to be
change?
spelled
Okay,
out.
fine,
We talked about.
fine. Okay,
You want this stuff back?
so let's go on, John. You might as well bring up, I've already talked about it, the installation, the cutting of the slot for the box. Go ahead.
Oh,
I
this
stole
was-
your thunder. Go ahead.
No. It's whether or not you'd like to move forward with putting this box in for the 1405.
I don't think we should, because we don't have to, I mean,
Could be done
Yeah, I thought
anytime.
someone just said we're gonna do it after the fact.
yeah.
Well, we are gonna do it after the fact, and I wanted to see it done, so it was off of our plate altogether, but at this price, it just seems
No, I mean, as a matter of
unreal.
fact, they're probably gonna charge us for the staging and all that kind of stuff. And we
Yeah,
just
we-
bring in a genie and we're done. I mean,
Why, how high
Right.
is it? How high off the ground is it?
It's,
You wanna get up on a ladder.
10
You could
10
do it
feet.
off a 6-foot step ladder easily. I have an 8-foot
no, I was thinking of when they,
OSHA-approved ladder if you want it.
You don't need staging, bottom line.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
If you got staging, it's easy. But if you don't.
And you're
know,
right,
Baker,
he
you know.
is staging,
$80.
supervision, markup, blah, blah, blah.
yeah,
Yeah.
what has he got, a mason, a tender, and a
Yeah.
and a
And
foreman?
foreman, yeah.
Well, he's actually just showing a foreman at eight man-hours.
On this?
Yeah, we had him break it down.
Yeah, it's right here.
So we received this just before coming here. Mike asked him to take out the $80 for one day. Well, he did. He had a whole week in there before. The supervision, $125. Yeah. The markup is
markup.
fine. The bond is okay at 2%. It's just a high cost in general.
I don't think we need to do it though.
No,
I don't,
so will somebody make a motion that we reject this?
oh, I think, are you asking me to make the motion?
Mm-hmm.
I think that, given the options that we have in this regard, I think that we thank Spillane for expressing interest in submitting this proposal, but we find it too expensive for the work, so we'll try and do it offline or something.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Do we have a?
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on this issue? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
But I think, I would strongly suggest that we make the opening somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 inches. I think that should be plenty. 12 by 8 is plenty.
Yeah, just,
I've never seen one of those boxes that's 16 inches long.
12 by 8 by 8?
Yeah. You gotta go through 2 widths of brick.
yeah, just give me the dimensions. Look it up.
Well,
If That's
You
it.
know what? The brick has gotta be removed first. Then we'll give you dimension, because you don't make something and then you say,
No,
oh
he's gotta put
God,
the
we gotta
sleeve in.
take more out. No.
He's gotta put the sleeve in, then we'll take dimensions for the box.
So you're making the sleeve, that's what you're talking about, right?
Right, but you take the brick out to get the dimensions for the sleeve.
Chicken or the egg? Alright, well, since it's all gonna be figured out later, I think we're
You
good.
make the hole first and then you make the
Make the
box.
hole.
Alright,
What the hell are we talking about?
we good?
Okay.
We good on the chapel?
You get any more on the chapel?
No, I think it's coming along. Glass should be starting sometime at the end of the month.
I wanted to ask you about that. Where's the glass now? Is it on site at
Yes.
this point?
It's
Oh,
in the
yeah.
storage.
Is it in a ground box or something?
He's got it, they're all crated up.
So is he somewhere else, other parts?
Yes,
Okay.
he's up in the corner there where they have all their,
I mean, is it at a place where it's monitored?
I don't know, is it monitored?
Yeah, no, it's in a safe place.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I know how, I've done one or two jobs when your
Yeah.
stuff comes in on Friday and you're all set to put it in on Monday, there's nothing in the
It's
box.
not there. Yeah, we've run into that before.
Thanks very much.
Okay, John, so you're gonna get back to me and all that?
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Do you think by Monday?
I'm gonna try like hell. Yeah.
Okay, you know my number.
I did.
Okay.
Have you updated your spending plan?
Well, I did. Not yet. So the last one I did was December.
Yeah.
So that was when we received Spillane's rec this round. I'll do it again.
Good.
Sounds good.
That makes sense.
When are we gonna have our next meetings this week?
Well, John,
Yeah.
either the 24th or the 31st.
I'll
What's
make
the key
myself
driver?
available either one. So it's whichever is best for you.
Well, wait a minute, what are we
About
talking about?
requisition.
The next meeting, what's the
Yeah,
key
we
driver?
know,
Is
but
it getting?
Did we
the,
already sign
rec?
off on the December
Yes.
rec at this point?
Yes.
Yeah, last time we were here.
So we probably won't get the next round until the end of January, early
We
February.
have to push them on the 24th, which would be through the 25th, or we wait till the 31st and get the entire
Clean
month.
up the
I think it'd be
month.
better chance to get it. on the
We operating
31st.
with a pencil rec? It gets to you, the architect, and then Bill?
Mhm.
Okay, so when do you expect to get that, on the 24th or?
Yeah, usually around the third week.
Okay, so,
Three. Yeah, that's
you
the
get that,
fourth week.
then we obviously wanna come back on the 31st, I
Yep.
think.
If that works
Sounds
for
good.
everyone, sure.
Okay,
So next meeting is?
January 31st, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Deal.
All righty,
Sound good?
yeah.
Thank you.
All right.
Good. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
All right, next up is an update on the town hall project. I want to say that before we do that, this does relate to the town hall. I did check, I had Kathy check on whether we could have DNAP do the work, and she's here, and I think I have to agree with her, but I'll let her explain it as soon as she's here.
I didn't bring my paperwork with me, but I think I had emailed all of you a couple days ago the copy of the proposal that had been signed by the P.B.C. back in 2015, I believe it was. And
Yeah.
if
Right.
you take a look at the language that was in there, I don't see any, it says very specifically, and I said that in my email, that, excuse me, this was investigatory only, and it says it did not include design, it did not include construction documents or contract administration. So I think taking a look at that and seeing how, what we were having them do, if there's no price estimate on there or anything else, I'm not comfortable with saying that that would become a part of the windows and all of that work, design and construction administration, would be just a change order to the contract that we had for the town hall water infiltration for the tower way back when, even prior to.
So you think we need to put out a request? for
I think that we
proposal
need
and
to
all
do an RFP for designer, quality based, and that we can get a scope of work very quickly on there, get it advertised for Central Register. It's too late to hit. We missed the deadline today because the deadline for Central is Thursdays at 4. So it would have to go to Central next week if you guys could write something up, appear the following week, and the minimum you have to do is 2 weeks. So we could do that, get proposals in, do a quick review on it. But I'm not comfortable with just saying we can go ahead and give that project to him. I mean, when you're gonna do your scope of work, you're gonna say that, somebody that has experience with this type of building, with the type of windows we're working with and all the rest. But just to follow the letter of the law under 7K. If he's talking about the value is at 300,000 and the changes to the law for chapter 7K has changed that it's now 30,000 for design services and 300,000 for construction, estimated construction cost, that we'd have to put it out.
What was his number? I don't remember.
He was saying that his,
Was it in that 30
It
area?
was-
No. His,
it was over
his
that.
fee was, go ahead, keep talking.
No,
I have it.
I thought it was in the 40s, but.
It was 42.
Yeah, it was
okay.
somewhere in the 40s. So,
42.
yeah.
22.
What a
42.
memory, Bob,
He
jeez.
just writes
Still
everything.
working.
Oh, yeah.
So,
right.
I mean, looking at that bylaw, it would fall under the requirements for designer selection process. And for a project that big, I just would rather see us go out. And I'd rather err with safety and make sure we follow the law, rather than get it out there and you don't want to protest at some point on there. So I think that to protect the town, we're better off doing it. It's 3 weeks. We've been looking at these windows and watching them leak here in Town Hall for 3 or 4 years at this point. Another 3 weeks really isn't going to make much of a difference to it.
How long do you think the process would be from advertising it in the Central Register?
I would say the most a month.
A month?
Because, yeah, we've missed the deadline right now
Right,
for it, so, the way it would work right now, let me look at the calendar quickly, is, we would get in Central Register for January 23rd. We would end up, it has to be at least 2 weeks there, so you talk about probably open around February 14th. And then, for you guys to do a review of the proposals, bring somebody in. You don't have to interview. You should bring in 3, but you bring 3 in, talk to them the same night, and be ready to go.
Do you think if we did get a designer on board in March, we'd get the bid documents ready by?
Well, I mean, we know that DNAP has the experience, and I'm sure that he'll be one of the firms that will be submitting.
Yeah.
I also feel that seeing that we've been working with DNAP so much on this building and on that project, other designers, they may submit proposals, they may take a look and say, hey, DNAP's name has been all over the investigatory report and everything else they've done, the tower, how many times now, that they're not gonna put in it. So they can still put it in, but I don't know how much of an interest, but the law just says that you have to get the advertisements out there, and then if you get the design, it's fine, if you only get one, if the person is competent, you negotiate a fee and you're ready to go.
I got a question.
Mhm.
I don't think I've ever seen a report that came back on the investigations we've already done up to now. Does such a thing exist?
Yes,
Yeah.
Where the hell is it?
we have it from Thompson Lickner.
Yeah, where
I
is it?
believe we have it.
I haven't seen it. I mean, we can't very well write a request for proposal until we understand what's wrong. So, if you don't mind, I'd like to have a look at that.
Well, who would write this request for proposal?
Well, it's a
I'll
scope.
probably end up writing it, but I suppose it was part of my purview.
I'm sure we have it. I will have GNAP send it to you.
Okay.
And so it sounds like we have to go that route.
But this is the
You'll
third
write
time
it
I've
out.
actually asked for it, so I
You
don't.
do-
Ask him to send all of us electronically.
I'm sorry.
I haven't seen
Ask-
anything.
ask
him
on
to
it. I
send
went
it to
through
all of
the,
us. Electronically.
Okay.
I only saw the paper version.
Okay.
They did the work in September, and they were supposed to send us a report.
We got a report, they sat right here and showed it to us, had a big map
Yeah.
with all the
Okay.
windows shown on it.
And their did they submit an invoice?
Yes, and we paid it already.
So once we get that, Ted, you'll work on writing up
Yeah, well,
the request
well,
that
wait a
Kathy
minute.
you'll
You
deal with.
mean Thompson Lichtner submitted a report to GNAP, and GNAP put together some drawings, is that what I'm hearing?
Yes,
I don't know if he put together drawings, hold on.
when you say
So what-
drawings,
so what
these are
is-
not,
what is the nature of these drawings?
they're not construction drawings. They were
There's an elevation of the
an
building,
elevation of the building.
circling which windows have
Yeah. It's
issues.
kind of an
So this
explanation of
this is
it.
part of the report from Thompson Lichtner?
Yes,
Is this kind of a
Yes.
translation of
It
what?
is, a translation of what
Okay.
they had found.
I'll
in
need
their
to see that, but
investigating.
I'll write the proposal. I also need to get their GNAP's proposal too, so I'll just sort of space it around that. That's the only way it's gonna make any sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I have his proposal right here.
Okay, now, do you have a set of those? So,
A what?
you have a set of the Thompson Lichtner and the GNAP?
He's got it there, he'd have to, I probably do, I mean, I'm usually CC'd on all of it, I have it on my computer upstairs.
Well, to make sure we have the latest and greatest.
Right,
have
we would
GNAP
include that.
send all the
Yeah.
relevant current info.
Well, you know, we're gonna ask somebody else to come in, we ought to make sure we know what we're asking for.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
we'll
his
do
proposal
scope of
he
work,
has a
we'll
couple
include
weeks
the
ago.
report that's there.
Can you spare this?
Hey, you can have it. A couple of weeks ago, he gave us that.
Yes.
42,000.
Is
I
that
don't
this
see
dated
the
December
drawings.
13th?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I gave,
This
Ted,
is
my
not, this
copy.
is not the Thompson Lichtner, is that,
No,
I need that.
I haven't seen the Thompson.
I haven't either.
report.
I thought,
Oh, you saw, okay.
I have 3 copies of the same thing.
Or maybe you could spare one, sir?
it's the proposal, it's not the
No, I think
report.
he's
Yeah, it's
talking
a
about what you
proposal.
have right there.
This is GNAP.
Yeah, that's what he's talking about. That's what he has.
Well, there might have been a separate, when I worked with Thompson Lichtner in the past, they would give you a very definite and very lengthy detail.
Right, that makes sense, but I don't think anyone has
They
that.
show
No, I
little
think that went
pictures
right to
of,
I'll have
Yeah.
him, I'll have him send it to everybody. I'll have him send it to everybody.
And once you get it, then you can write it up, get it to
Yeah.
Kathy, then you can do
Right.
the necessary steps.
We'll get it all out there,
you're the expert in.
get it quick and get it done and
Right.
open it, get it awarded and, but then, I mean, at this point, for funding for the design, are you using the money left over from the tower project to fund the design contract?
That was my understanding. We had like
Yeah.
122 or
you can do
something.
that, Calvin.
Yeah, I'm just asking because, you know, I don't wanna go out for, RFPs on designers and then find out, well, wait a minute, now we gotta go to town meeting to get the money. So you've got the money to hire a designer, you just don't have the funds for construction if the
Right.
That's what I
ECC
had.
is 300,000.
And then the results of the design will go to town meeting to get funds.
Well, you'd have to send the design out for bids to get a real good number.
That may not happen until.
The designer would be putting together what the ECCs were, once you hire the designer. I mean, we have an estimate at 300,000, but they'd be giving
Yeah,
us the real, and then
Right.
they're putting everything
Well,
together.
it's still an estimate though, not bids, but
Right,
enough
but,
hopefully to get town meeting to say yes.
Yeah.
I don't
you
believe
want-
that'll be ready by May town meeting. Town meeting is-
Unlikely if there's having to do what we need to do.
Right.
but if you're looking to get it on to FY 20, you wanna make sure that that the town manager knows when he's putting together his capital budget for FY 20. We're putting all that together now.
So,
That he has some kind of a figure and some kind of an explanation. He's been doing that even though we haven't gone before the Board of Selectmen and the FinCom for approvals, or even the Capital Outlay Committee, just to have a write-up of what's happened, why we need it, how much the estimate is, so that he can put it in the loop, and then we'll see from there, you know, what ends up getting approved, and he'll go to capital outlay and everything.
so just to sum up where we are right now, we have a proposal from the architect. We have somewhere drawings from, and detailed description of the situation from Thompson and Lichtner, which have been digested by the architect, and he's given us a proposal because he understands the work, and that's where we're going to begin. So, I think we're ready to actually bring in an architect that's gonna start preparing drawings rather than go through an investigating
Oh, absolutely.
yeah. No,
thing
this is-
altogether. So we
Yeah.
want to make sure we get the right language in the proposal.
Mhm.
Yep.
Right,
But
this
for
is
that,
the
I'm gonna need
design.
He'll get the
I
information to
need all
you.
that stuff, and
Yeah.
I'll get it out.
Good. Makes sense.
See how I've got nothing else to do.
That'll keep you in trouble.
Excuse me.
Is there any more on the town hall?
Anything back from the architect?
I
On the
haven't,
interior stuff.
I haven't heard a thing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say is, can you, because I haven't been to a couple of meetings, can you give me where we stand right now? Are we just doing the MEP and are they putting together a report on that right now, or?
It's comprehensive, that whole scope of work.
We do already have a report on the MEP.
No, I know, but then they were gonna do even more detail and
They
they
were
came in.
gonna do an
and-
estimate.
Yeah, and were they gonna come in and do any more, kind of, going through the walls or anything like that, or they're all set that
I
way?
don't believe there's any more than that.
Okay, all right.
But in my mind, what they'll come back with is, here's what, after having talked to everybody, here's where we think you want the end game to be.
Mhm,
Here are the steps you can take to get there.
Mhm.
Decide what you want to do.
mhm.
Okay,
Okay, Kathy,
great.
we're good.
Okay.
Is there any new business that anybody wants to bring up?
Just one
Thought I
issue,
had something that I was gonna bring up, but I'll have to wait.
I'm sorry, Jerry, go ahead.
there is one issue that came to my attention this morning. There apparently is a new leak in the roof in the high school, around one of the mechanical areas. Paul Rashadi has called the roofing company that owns the warranty on it. It still is under warranty. They have investigated it and they're looking at ways to fix it at the moment. Apparently there's a lot more air getting under the top layer than should be because a lot of the hold downs have failed.
Hmm.
So roofing company's looking at what they're gonna take to fix it. We don't need to be involved at this point. Paul's handling it through the warranty issue. If anything comes up that we need to be involved in, he's going to call me and we'll deal with it
He'll
there.
call
You
me.
might recommend to him, if you haven't already, that
That's my purview.
Well,
instead of just look where those tie downs have failed, check the entire system.
Yeah, that's what the roofing
For fails,
contractor's
yeah.
doing.
I'm surprised he didn't call either one of us.
Yeah.
We were the first
Call
ones
us
he called when he
quick
had
enough on the
problems with the
boilers.
boiler.
Yeah.
Okay. Jerry, where is this leak? You said above the mechanical room?
It's an area where they got a lot of mechanical on the roof, he told me, but I didn't,
Oh,
I
they
don't
have
know.
something mechanical on the roof.
Well, it might be the solar panels.
it's not the solar panels that he was talking about. And there was some other
HVAC
thing.
equipment.
Yeah,
Well,
Okay.
the one thing that bothers me about that whole thing is that reheat thing. The one that's so, I think there's one over, there's two up there. One is near the gym. That, I bet that's what it is. You know, the big wheel that they have.
Like a heat wheel on a
Yeah,
HVAC unit?
yeah, there's, I forget what the hell, it's over the showers and stuff and where the toilets are for the gym. Although I don't know, I'll talk to Ricardi and find out, but, it's not, this isn't the first leak we've had up there.
Okay. Any other new business? How about old business? I'll take a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Seeing none.
See you on the 31st.
31st, yeah.